Hey, congratulations, gentlemen, for Alberto and the Concrete Jungle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So let's start with you, Chris. Where did the original idea came from for a film like this?
Uh, I guess a number of different things, but mainly, I've always wanted to make an Indiana Jones type of movie, but also do it in my own specific way with my own specific styles and love for dialogue and love for improvisation. So it was really about taking that feeling and sort of updating it for the modern world that I know and placing it in sort of a different context, which in my case is like an urban city kind of environment, which is sort of where I've grown up. And that was sort of the main impetus. And the other thing was I was in a very specific time in my life where I was super frustrated at not having been able to get another project off the ground. And I was looking for a way to make something happen that I felt I could do on my own or with few people helping out, so that I could have that sort of control and make it sort of just happen without relying on other people telling me what to do. So I that's when I set out to write the script, and a lot of that frustration went into it, and a lot of that sort of that, yeah, I mean, so that idea of a character trying to leave New York and being unable to escape, that's sort of how I felt in terms of not being able to get a specific project off the ground. So that was my that was sort of the feeling I put into the project, and I wanted to write it in a certain way that I could really make it happen on a super low budget, really,
Well, I guess that really explains. You must be a really big indie fan then.
Yeah, can you see that behind me? I've taken that with me like in a few different apartments now, but that was like my big, my big thing growing up. I think my dad first introduced me to it, and it stuck with me, just not, I mean, of course, because of the character, but also the music. And music and film music specifically has always been into storytelling, and I've wanted to tap into that in different ways, in different projects.
Absolutely. Alejandro, you cleaned up pretty well. Why did you want to do a film like this? Because this is fairly...
Well, that's his normal look. That's what he normally looks like, That's
So why did you want to do something like this? Because this is a way different type of project than anyone else would normally do.
Well, first of all, because I wanted to work. I'm an actor, and it's very difficult to work. I mean, out there, and I'm an actor with with an accent, and not, and it's very hard, And so I was open to any opportunity, so I can work as an actor, and but besides that, when I wanted to do this because the character. When I read the description, when I applied to audition for this movie, I read the description of the character, and I was attracted immediately. I was like, okay, this is something bigger than life. I mean, his description is big, so it's. I think I can do this, or I would love to explore this big personality. And
wait, Ollie, what was it? Do you remember? Was it what did I say in the description? Was it
a photojournalist, photographer, free spirit,
free spirit? Yeah, that's right.
With the long hair that has traveled the world, and a lot of things that I was like, okay, this is something that is interesting. And also, then I also did a little research in Chris's work. So and I liked what I saw. So I was drawn. I was interested in working with him. I didn't know him before, but when I saw his work, I was like, okay, I like his work. I would love to work with him, or have the opportunity to work with him. So yeah.
Excellent. Let's talk about the city itself, New York City, which is a great city to be in, and I haven't seen that many people on the sidewalks or streets for a very long time. Talk about the city as a character itself, and filming on the streets of New York City. That was probably fairly difficult as an indie project like this.
Well, yes and no. I think New York does. It's better than other places in the sense that you can walk out onto the street of New York and something will be happening wherever you go. And that's how I've always felt, you know, having lived in the city for quite a while now, is that I've always, like, you know, every day I'm always out and I'm wondering, why can't I get this in a movie? Why can't this be the backdrop of a movie? Why can't these people, all this vibrant life around me be in a movie? So it was easy in the sense that it's endlessly inspirational. You know, like I could take a camera out now and I could meet up with Ali right now and we could go out and find something, you know, even in the current state of things, there will be something to find. But yes, it is difficult in the sense that, you know, you will be, you have to be very open to that spontaneity of what's going on around you. And you can't, when you're setting up scenes to work like that, you can't be so rigid in terms of what exactly you want and how you want to achieve it. You have to be open to pretty much whatever's going to happen. I know there was, you know, a specific moment when Ali and I were over in the Bronx, and we were waiting around to do one specific scene, and then this guy came up to us and said, "Hey, what are you doing? You guys shooting the movie?" And everyone's like, you know, super friendly. They have that kind of attitude. And he said, and he showed us his business card, and his name's King Charlie Prince, and he's responsible for the original "The Roof Is on Fire" song. And he was like, "Can I be in your movie? Can I sing this in your movie?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not? We'll find a part for you." So it was sort of a lot of just that, you know, we have to make time for this kind of thing, and we have to, some things aren't going to go as planned, so we have to try to fit in another thing before we go to another location. And it's, so, you know, like a lot of it was, the most difficult thing was, you know, really finding a way to be spontaneous, and also just trying to fit in all those different environments and trying to travel around to as many places as we could, like in any given day.
Ali, are you from New York City yourself? I mean,
No, well, I was born in Puerto Rico, and I grew up in Puerto Rico, actually. I moved to New York when I was 24. And I came to New York to train as an actor. Yeah.
I mean, this movie is amazing. I never knew you guys could incorporate so many neighborhoods.
All right.
In New York.
Not myself, you know. When we did the movie, I think I was in New York already, living for around maybe 9 years, and when we shot the movie, I was like, okay, now I know the city. I most of the places that Chris took me, I didn't know they existed,
Yeah.
or I've never been, or I've never been there before. So for me, it was also like a discovery of the city in a new way. It was wonderful, yeah, because of that.
But that was the big, and that was the big ambition of the project too. I mean, it was, I wanted to find a way to capture that adventurous feeling. And, you know, like, how do you do that in a city? It has to be sprawling. It has to go all over the place. And so, you know, I had to find the right team to do that. And luckily, you know, I found, you know, Paul Cho, who I knew could sort of see it in the same scrappy, for lack of a better word, scrappy way that I saw it in the sense that we have that attitude of, let's just do it and let's just make it happen. You know, whatever it takes to do it, let's just get out on the street and jump from neighborhood to neighborhood and do it, you know.
With so many characters in a film like this, because it's such a you know big idea for a film, was it hard to basically try to organize everything because of all the neighborhoods, all the characters, your fast-paced storytelling? This was fairly difficult, right?
Yeah, it was pretty difficult. You know, luckily, again, you know, I think Paul was able to head a lot of that. You know, he had like a bit of a big health issue during the shoot and afterward, but he was still able to manage. Probably, I think it was about, we did over half of the movie with you know, like a 10-person size crew. And he was able to manage that and the locations and all that, you know, while we were shooting over the course of 2 weeks or so. And it was a very tight schedule, but luckily, you know, Ali and I also had about another 2 months after that where he and I would just, you know, and along with a cinematographer and makeup, would go to whatever areas and whatever other scenes we needed to do over the course of 2 months, and just go around the city that way. And that was a much more relaxed pace because we could work on our own time and we could figure things out as we went. I think sometimes Ali and I would spend maybe like an hour just on like one paragraph of dialogue just to make sure like we got the right understanding of the wording and everything. And so that was a good luxury. And so having that extra like 2 months of being able to just work on our own schedule, on our own time, made it a lot more digestible. And I was able to just, from there, I would say, we would do one scene and then I would head back home, get on the computer and do research on the next scene and find whatever extra cast we needed for that or extra background talent we needed for that. Yeah.
Hey, Ali, how did you get into your character of Alberto? I mean, he's pretty free spirited in his own sense, and not to mention that you had to pretend to be a really good professional photographer at the same time.
Right. Well, I actually worked with a coach because I didn't have much time. I think I was cast probably like 2 months or a month before we started shooting the movie. So I got the script like a month before. So I didn't really have time to kind of, work on the character and yes, so I needed someone to help me in a way to go over the script. So I worked with my coach and we went over the entire script. And then that helped me a lot to find choices and or the direction where to go with the character. But mainly it was because the character is bigger than life, so it gives you so much freedom. So for me, it was a lot of my instincts, of my creativity, of my personality, I am a little bit like that, like free spirit, and not like him, but I am free spirit in my mentality, in my soul. And that he takes that another like more into action. But in my heart, I am like him, let's say. So so it was easy to connect in that way for me. Excellent. And also when I started doing acting, I did theater in the streets. I was part of and in the parks outside in the people, So I was open to try things and in front of the people so yeah, I was.
Yeah, we could get him changed out, out on the street or like in a McDonald's or something, and he was totally fine with that. And
so yeah, I don't know.
and Chris, I found the film very unique is because you divide it into like these chapters, and then you use these sort of like these graphic transitions to go from chapter to chapter. Did that actually make it easier for storytelling for you?
Well, that was a process. I mean, it wasn't necessarily written like that. So, I mean, the only real thing that was in the script was that I wanted to use some map devices to make reference to Indiana Jones in that way, and to update it using, like Google or some other more digital kind of method of doing it. But all the divisions in terms of like, chapter divisions, those were new additions, like in the past, like few months too. Like I was looking for a way to make sure we could communicate the focus of the film as being slightly episodic and also more about the characters, as opposed to it being just a straight, simple plot with our expectations of it being just like from here to here to here to here, and the climax is in the end. And that was never my intention when I was writing it or making the film. I wanted to just to be able to capture these vignettes with different people and spend a little time with them before like the main character himself, he wanders off to the next spot.
Absolutely. And Ali, did you have fun running through the streets of New York? That was a great scene.
Well,
no, you didn't.
I did at the beginning.
Yeah.
But then I did not. Yeah, it was tough.
Well, your boots were running in those boots is not always easy, and it like you got hurt from it from doing it from so much. It was
because of doing it so much. I remember one night we had to stop shooting.
Yeah. And
No,
that was one of the nights with the,
not run anymore.
when
And
we
then
had the whole like 10 person crew there. I remember. Yeah, yeah.
and they put me some injections in my feet, and so it could heal faster because no, it was hard, yeah, but it was fun. I mean, I seeing it when I saw the movie, I was like, oh, that's fun, that's great. But when I was doing it, it was hard, yeah.
I could believe it. Well, gentlemen, let me wrap it up with one more thing, because I from what I hear, New York is starting to open up again. So you guys must be really grateful for something like that. But during the time, or maybe right now, how are you staying sane and creative?
I'll let you go first.
Right now, during this time, well, I'm writing a movie myself, so I'm working on that. So that, yeah, I always try. I mean, I always have something that I'm passionate about. I mean, I paint and for example, I did that myself. So I'm always,
Really?
I'm always doing something creative. That's my nature. Since I'm a kid, I've always been like that. So it hasn't been, honestly, being in my apartment, it hasn't been that difficult for me.
Well, that's Ali. It's because you and I we both have a more free schedule. I mean, we freelance, and so it's in the sense of like work and all that kind of stuff. It hasn't been that huge of a difference, luckily. I mean, for me personally, it's I work as a video editor, so I've been able to keep doing that from home. And in terms of like creating other projects, like Ali, like I do keep writing whenever I can. There is a new project that I'm trying to get off the ground with Paul and Hill Harper as well. So I try to keep that going. But again, like Ali and I think we've luckily set ourselves up in a way that we've been able to keep functioning, I think.
Excellent. Well, hey, gentlemen, it was a very fun movie, very fast paced. I had to keep up with everything. I felt like I was running through New York City myself. So, hey,
That's great.
congratulations for Alberto and the Concrete Jungle. And I can't wait to talk to you guys again on your guys' next projects.
Thank you. Thanks, man.